Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Once again, Joe Biden has been embarrassed on the world stage because despite all the begging and pleading to the Saudi royals, they in fact decided not to help Joe Biden out with the midterms in his 2024 presidential campaign if he decides to run by increasing the supply of oil on the market and sending gas prices down. In fact, they actually did the exact opposite, right? And this is, again, an embarrassment to Joe Biden, and it shows you just how much the Saudis hate Joe Biden, okay? Stories like this is exactly why I say that if Trump was in office, I don't think that the gas price issue would be nearly as bad as it is right now, because Trump had a much different relationship with Saudi Arabia than Joe Biden. Saudi Arabia absolutely hates Joe Biden, especially after Joe Biden called them a pariah at a climate change conference. And I'm going to play this clip that I absolutely love. Okay, I played this before, but some of you guys are new to my channel, so I want to play this clip just to show you guys how much Saudi Arabia does not like Joe Biden. As allegedly, earlier this year, they weren't picking up the phone when Joe Biden initially tried to beg them to increase oil production to help with gas prices here in the US. So let's actually go ahead and play this clip of this Saudi royal spokesperson basically showing us how much they really don't like Joe Biden. Take a look.
What we're now looking ahead to is we're waiting for remarks from the U.S. President Joe Biden. One of the measures he might announce is the release of a strategic reserve of oil and gas. The United States is a producer of crude. But will he then be, in your view, on the telephone to the king or the crown prince to talk a little bit about whether or not they too can help out by pumping out more oil?
Yeah, I think we have to put things into context. Last year, President Biden blamed the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the fossil fuel at the climate summit. And subsequently, Francois, 1 week later, he asked Riyadh to increase its oil production to lower the prices of oil. And it was a way to throw the blame on Saudi so he can cover up his primary responsibility for all his missteps after he knocked down the U.S. shale oil industry. So
are you saying that the crown prince won't pick up the phone?
It's not about picking up the phone. The U.S. will always remain as the most strategic ally, not only partner, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But at the same time, the current administration has made a lot of mistakes against the custodian of the two holy mosques, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the center of Islam, by calling it a pariah. So you call Saudi Arabia a pariah the moment you don't think you need it, and the moment you need Saudi Arabia, you call it a partner. Saudi Arabia doesn't like to play these games. So I think the United States, the ball is in the court of the United States too.
Yeah, again, that's one of my favorite clips of all time, okay? Because they really do not like Joe Biden. They don't F with Biden, okay? Which is kind of ironic, as Joe Biden made a statement during his tour of Florida during the Hurricane Ian relief to see the damage and all that other stuff. He made a statement in which he said nobody F's with Biden.
Over what OPEC does, he asked them to increase production. They decided to decrease it. And now gas prices back home may start rising at a terrible time for him politically. But as international politics get tricky, the president has a surprising kind word for domestic rival Ron DeSantis.
I think he's done a good job.
The president says no one F's with a Biden.
No one yeah.
But it appears OPEC Plus has done just that. The group of oil-producing nations agreeing to cut oil production by 2 million barrels per day.
It's a short-sighted decision,
which could make inflation in America worse.
America is going to be paying sharply higher prices for everything oil-related,
while giving Russia a way to minimize the impact of global sanctions.
It's clear that OPEC Plus is aligning with Russia with today's announcement.
The president of the U.S. Oil and Gas Association says The White House has one option left. It's the one they should have never turned away from in the first place. The U.S. oil and gas industry and its workers. Life comes at you pretty fast. White House officials argue this proves them right. Fossil fuels aren't the future.
We absolutely do agree that we need to be less dependent on OPEC Plus and foreign producers of resources like oil.
But in the present, there's confusion about what the White House will do, since we were told 180 million barrels already ordered out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, or SPR, would be it. Just yesterday.
We're not considering new releases from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve beyond the 180 million.
Today, in a reversal, the White House says the president will continue to direct SPR releases as appropriate to protect American consumers and promote energy security.
The president will continue to direct SPR releases as necessary.
That SPR already set to be at a 40-year low by the end of this month. White House officials are telling us they are going to work with Congress about figuring out ways to replenish those reserves. But based on everything that happened today, every barrel of oil they're going to need to buy is going to be a lot more expensive. Brett.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty safe to say that whatever gas price increases that we see as a result of this supply cut from OPEC Plus, you can place it squarely on the shoulders of Joe Biden, because Saudi Arabia really dislikes Joe Biden. And there's no doubt in my mind that a part of the reason why they did this supply cut, which honestly is the largest supply cut since COVID, the pandemic, the reason why they did it probably has to do with trying to spite Biden, to show Biden how much they don't like him, okay, to disrespect him, to embarrass him, right before the midterms, right? Because imagine the effect that high gas prices are going to have on the Democrats at the polls, right? That's exactly why this is happening, in my opinion. And by the way, Karine Jean-Pierre accuses Saudi Arabia, or OPEC Plus, really, that's what she said. She accuses OPEC Plus of aligning with Russia. And I'm like, Russia is a part of OPEC Plus, right? What are you talking about? They are a part of the oil producing cartel, right? So I really don't understand, like, what are you saying when you're saying they're choosing to align with Russia? Russia is a part of OPEC Plus. I mean, they have interest in controlling the supply of oil on the market, right? I mean, they have a say in this decision, okay? They act as a group. But anyways, as you guys remember, Joe Biden took credit as gas prices started to lower over the last few weeks because of decrease in demand. So now that gas prices are going back up, I wonder if Joe Biden is going to take credit for gas prices going back up. And you know, our boy Peter Deuce asked the Affirmative Action Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre about this, and she unsurprisingly goes into word salad mentum gymnastics. Take a look.
Thanks, Karine. You've said the president was responsible for gas prices coming down. Is the president responsible for gas prices going up?
So it's a lot more nuanced than that, right? Peter, you know this. There have been global challenges that we have dealt with. When I say all, meaning other countries as well, have dealt with since the pandemic. There's been pandemic and there's been Putin's war. And Putin's war has increase gas prices at the pump. We have seen that over the past several months. And what the president was able to do, he took some historic steps when you think about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and making sure that we were able to do everything that we can to bring that cost down for American families, give them a little bit more of a breathing room. And we saw that. We saw that every day this summer, saving American families over $1 per gallon. And so that is what the president's going to continue to stay focused on, our American consumers. How do we continue to keep prices down? That's why we did the Inflation Reduction Act. That's why we talk about the CHIPS Act. All of these things are going to help Americans here.
Yeah. So you guys see that. You heard that, right? When gas prices go down, Biden gets 100% of the credit, right? It's all him. He did that. Okay? But when gas prices go up, it's Putin. It's Russia. It's the war in Ukraine. Again, this is why I tell y'all, the Democrats really do believe their base is dumb. They really do. And situations like this prove my point. They actually think that you are dumb. It's insulting. But my ultimate point in this video, guys, is that this is why leadership matters. Trump was respected on the world stage. He had a much better relationship with Saudi Arabia than Joe Biden did. There's no doubt in my mind that if Trump was still in office, that Saudi Arabia would be much more willing to add more supply of oil to the market, which would help ease gas prices over here in the U.S. However, because Saudi Arabia does not like Biden, they don't respect him at all. In fact, their state-owned television show, a state-affiliated TV channel, did a skit mocking Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. There's no doubt that part of this, they're doing it because of Joe Biden. They just don't like Joe Biden, right? So his trip over there to Saudi Arabia to beg them to increase oil production may have actually backfired, okay? It may have actually made it worse. It may have made them say, you know what? We're going to make sure we cut supply even more just because you came over here, right? Again, it's absolutely embarrassing. This is why leadership matters. This is why being respected on the world stage matters. This is absolutely disrespectful. Saudi Arabia is supposed to be our BITCH, okay? Not the other way around. Not the other way around. But that's kind of what it looks like with this move right here. That's kind of what it looks like. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.